I would now like to give the floor to Georgia Foreign Minister, Mr. Davit Zalkaliani, please.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. I would like to congratulate Estonia for taking over its first ever presidency of the UN Security Council and wish you, dear Minister, a successful and fruitful months ahead. Today we celebrate the 75th anniversary of the end of the World War II, a war which brought untold sorrow to humanity and claimed the lives of millions of people across the globe. I wish to join my colleagues and bow my head before the victims of the war. The end of this tragedy has paved the way for establishment of the United Nations, and indeed it was the UN Charter that provided its member states with the blueprint for conducting the international relations by peaceful means, prohibiting use of force in resolving disputes and preventing future atrocities. Respecting the UN funding principles is especially important in these difficult times, as the COVID-19 virus continues to spread in every corner of the world. At this critical crossroad, we all have to be united and determined to do our utmost to overcome the current crisis. Unlike the founding members of the United Nations or those who freely joined the organization years later, becoming a member of the UN family was a hard-fought achievement for Georgia, as the country had been enduring the Soviet occupation for 70 years. Precisely 100 years ago, on 7th of May, 1920, Soviet Russia recognized independence of Georgia, although only 9 months later the Red Army occupied my country. Only in 1992, after regaining its independence, Georgia became a full-fledged member of the international community. And now we once again reaffirm our unwavering resolve to stand by objectives and main tenets of the UN Charter and contribute to the maintaining of international peace and security. Mr. Minister, when it comes to the security situation in Europe, what we are witnessing nowadays is the exact opposite of the political culture enshrined in the UN Charter. One of the permanent members of the UN Security Council systematically subverted the main pillars of international security order, including the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity, inviolability of borders, and free choice of countries in deciding their own future. Moreover, the unresolved conflicts in Europe share one defining feature: the vigorous involvement of the Russian Federation. If Russia's subversive activities in Eastern Europe once seemed to be sporadic gradually, they have been marked out by a clear-cut operation pattern, instigating conflicts, exercising direct aggression, using a combination of political, economic, and military pressure, launching cyber attacks, coordinating disinformation campaigns, and derailing the peace process have been systematically used by Russia for thwarting European countries from their foreign policy political aspiration. In this context, the cases of Georgia and Ukraine represent unmistakable attestation of Russia's strategy in the region. Mr. President, it is particularly alarming that we still face illegal Russian military presence in the two occupied regions of Georgia, inflicting a heavy toll on humanitarian and human rights situation on the ground. Even in these times of global crisis, Russia continues the illegal process of erection of so-called border signs at the occupation line in clear violation of international norms and principles and the EU-mediated 12 August 2008 ceasefire agreement, and the residents of the occupied territories are still deprived by occupation forces of possibility to get medical service. Against this background, turning a blind eye to blatant violation of principles enshrined of the UN Charter is detrimental for international peace and security and poses a threat to preventing future atrocities. With this in mind, while reaffirming our strong commitment to the principles embodied in the UN Charter, we urge the international community to call on Russia to start fulfillment of international obligations and, as a party to the conflict, reciprocate the commitment of non-use of force undertaken unilaterally by Georgia. After 75 years of service to international peace and security, the UN has contributed to a number of achievements, but there is still much more to accomplish. Against this background, it is more urgent than ever to intensify our efforts to solidify respect for the UN Charter and its principles in the years to come. I thank you.